Okay, these are We the People News. Not an attorney, not giving legal advice. Okay, just hearsay. So whatever I say or do is just my opinion only. Okay, and never look straight forward. Always look around you. Be able to protect yourself by any means necessary. Arm yourself with knowledge with the Second Amendment, people. Okay, that's the reason why they put weapons in the Second Amendment, because the Second Amendment still applies with that, but there's many different other type of arms, and arming yourself with knowledge is still the Second Amendment. Okay, and you guys can argue with me. It's my opinion. All right, let's check out Texas right quick. Okay. And because my internet's a little weak and a crappy phone, alrighty. So I did that a little bit to kind of get a clear view, because in the future of this video, it's going to be kind of off on the side and you're going to miss half the stuff. Um, Read it and comprehend and understand it. Basically, attorneys are supposed to take the oath of office, and they are for the federal government, working for the federal agency under said clause, right? Article 1, Section 8, Clause 3, and others, by the way. All right, so in Texas, let's jump in a little bit. Geez, maybe I jumped way too far. Let's see here. What was it? Oh, never mind. Here we go. Let's start off and hear what he speaks of. And again, this video and his video is hearsay. Okay, do your own research. You are responsible for yourselves. Okay. All right, let's go.
Nature of federal jurisdiction in Texas, and there we go. Aim the camera right here. So this is a Word file. This is actually a filing that I filed into a recent federal court case. I was down in court yesterday, and they dismissed it, which I expected them to, quite frankly. They seem to be sympathetic, but they're not a real court anyways. But I got everything in there that I wanted for the appeal, and so I think I'll have, we'll see what happens. You know, I think I'm prepared to take it to the Supreme Court. Maybe the Supreme Court wants to hear it. I've been to the Supreme Court 5 times, so maybe it'll be 6. We'll see.
What did you file?
I had a lawsuit filed in August in the federal court over property taxes. Anyways, the
And for clarification, he is suing the whole bar union. All right.
So this is part of one of the filings that I filed. Yeah. So Texas codes are in the Commerce Clause. Um, under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 3, if you look at the Texas Tax Code, Section 151.004, it says in this state means within the exterior limits of Texas and includes all territory within these limits ceded to or owned by the United States. So anytime the word in this state is used in any statute in Texas, this is what it's talking about. All territory within these limits ceded to or owned by the United States. And includes is limited. Okay, this is a Supreme Court case, Montello Assault versus Utah. Include of the participial form thereof is defined to comprise within, to hold, to contain, enclose, comprise. So that's it. There's nothing else in there.
So during the very beginning, what I showed you close up is the exact same thing at the here and now of what this is showing. Even though it's a partial, that's the reason why I filmed it, kept my mouth shut, and showed it on the video.
Okay, so it's all territory within these limits ceded to or owned by the United States. That is all that is within this state. And here's a law dictionary definition, Black's 6th edition. Same thing. Confined within, hold as an enclosure, take in, can shut up, contain, enclose, embrace. So, which means that when they use this phrase in the state in their codes, it's only talking about territory ceded to or owned by the United States. And all legislative, inferior, municipal, fake court judges are 14th Amendment U.S. citizens, practice law only in federal areas of Texas. This is Texas Government Code, Section 3006, 30.006. A municipal court of record is presided over by one or more municipal judges. The judge must be a resident of this state, be a citizen of the United States, be a licensed attorney in good standing, have 2 or more years experience of practicing law in this state. Okay, so lawyers only practice law in federal areas of Texas. An assistant prosecuting attorney is licensed to practice law only in...
So I'm going to pause right there. I like one of the magistrates we have, but she's never been an attorney. So according to Texas code, right, she was supposed to be attorney, a licensed attorney first for 4 or 5 years, and then proceed forward. So under Texas code, I believe 30.0000006, she's not qualified.
Federal areas of Texas. This is Texas Government Code, Section 41.103. Assistant prosecuting attorney must be licensed to practice law in this state. To qualify for an appointment, all judges practice law only in federal areas of Texas. Do you know why? Do you know why it's only in federal areas of Texas? Does anybody know why?
Because it's outside the one they're saying it's 1817. Because all courts are federal courts.
Because Texas is under a military occupation. Has been since 1861. Okay? It's martial law. That's why. So you're right, Nelson, but it goes more to the fact that we're under Texas under military occupation. But it's only federal areas of Texas. And because Texas is under military occupation, it puts Texas under as federal territory. Okay, so Texas is federal territory, which brings us into the Northwest Ordinance. Okay, because the Northwest Ordinance defines the nature of federal jurisdiction and federal territory. And so, again, still, it's only federal areas of Texas. That's why they use the zip code. All these courts have a zip code, and they want Federal Reserve notes. That's all for District of Columbia only, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17.
So is their claim true then regarding the martial law means it extends over all areas of Texas, therefore it's all federal?
No, it's just federal areas of Texas, because common law under the Northwest Ordinance, they're supposed to give us common law. See what I'm saying? So they drag you into their commercial court, it's all Commerce Clause. All Commerce Clause, they bring you into the Commerce Clause. And so, but that's how you defeat it too, okay? Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17. And that's what I've been bringing up. I bring in all this stuff in this federal court case numerous times. So we'll see what happens when it goes to the Court of Appeals. Anyways, and we'll set it up. It's being set up for the Supreme Court. So we'll go there too. I don't have a problem with that. All judges practice law only in federal areas of Texas. Qualify for an appointment as associate judge under this chapter, a person must be a resident of this state. One of the counties the person will serve have been licensed to practice law in this state. All bar members are allowed to practice only in federal areas of Texas. Board of Law Examiners, Texas Government Code Section 82.004, acting under instructions of the Supreme Court provided by this chapter, shall determine the eligibility of candidates for examination for a license to practice law in this state.
Which, if you really sit and think about, right? How did the Supreme Court have authority of all the lower courts, right? Or how do they have authority of making rules for even the bar members of each state? Okay, of course they get to do the little tweaks in every state, but how did the Supreme Court become the head honcho of all these judges beneath them? It's because they're supposed to be federal judges, right? Under the territory, right? Which is a superior clause. They're not even allowed to do that. So, lies on top of lies on top of lies.
I mean that a judge, because he's a bar member, he's in violation acting against a man as well. Or the judge, by definition, since he's an attorney.
Well, they're dragging you into their federal territory is what's happening. Okay, but it's only areas owned or ceded to the United States, and I don't believe there's been any state areas Randy says there has been land that's been ceded to the United States and Texas, but I don't think so. But even if there was, it would be like Fort Hood. It'd be a military base, which we're not in a military base here. And if it's owned by the United States, okay, then that means the federal courthouse, okay, which doesn't mean here. You see what I'm saying?
Post offices, especially.
Post offices could be, yeah, for sure.
I did find that out to be true in the state I'm currently domiciled. The local post office was actually ceded by the legislature to the United States.
So what he's saying for the people on YouTube is he said that the post office was ceded by the legislature in New Jersey to the United States. So, and that's important. So it's good to know. But, you know, I never have any trouble with the post office. Anyways, all bar members are allowed to practice only in federal areas of this state. I already went over that. All juries are only for federal areas of Texas. The Office of Court Administration of the Texas Judicial System shall develop and maintain a model for the uniform written jury summons in this state. That's why they want to know if you're a U.S. citizen, and that's the quickest way to get off the juries. All you do is tell them I'm not a U.S. citizen, and they'll kick you out of there so fast your head will spin.
So, the key word, as I shown in the very beginning, is the definition of in this state. So any laws that says in this state, they're basically saying you are in federal territory and you're subject to, which 14th Amendment says you are subject to federal jurisdiction, right? Well, okay, so even with argument case of 14th Amendment, I'm subject to the federal laws. Why in the world do we need any state laws at all? Period. People, sit and think about it. If we're subject to federal laws, why do we need any state laws at all? Alright? And why do they have to be specific in this state? State of Texas already made in court the difference between Texas Republic and the state of Texas. Okay? That's the court case of state of Texas versus Texas Republic in Texas. This is We the People News. Think outside the box.